Hello, Seiiti Arata. I know you've been working hard to achieve your goals and make progress, and I know how frustrating it can be to face challenges and obstacles. The worst problems are the ones that seem to be impossible to overcome. But I have good news for you. You don't have to solve every single problem to be successful. In fact, the problem that doesn't have a solution is already solved. Think about this. The problem that doesn't have a solution is already solved. Now you might be wondering, what do I mean by that? It is simple. Once a problem is recognized as impossible to solve, it ceases to be a problem. It becomes a fact or reality that must be accepted. This means that you can stop wasting time and energy trying to solve problems that are impossible to solve, and instead focus on the problems that you can solve. I know that this might sound counterintuitive, but it actually is the most rational thing to do. Remember to be humble, and that we can't control everything in life. If you acknowledge that a problem doesn't have a solution, you must immediately stop trying to solve this problem. Just let go the things you cannot change. For this, you have to become skillful in recognizing and accepting impossible problems. By doing so, you can free yourself from the frustration and stress of trying to solve unsolvable problems, and instead focus on the problems that can be solved. This will make you achieve progress, achieve your goals, and ultimately succeed. And how can you do that? First of all, if you want to know if a problem can be solved or not, you must consider what resources you have. When we have a problem, it is important to think about what we've got to work with. Time, money, skills, tools, they're all examples of resources. If we don't have enough of those things, the problem might not have a solution at all. For example, if we don't have enough time or money to fix a broken piece of a machinery, well, we might not be able to do it. Some problems might have more than one solution, but then each solution might need different resources. So we have to think about which solution is the best for us. And then if we don't have the right tools or skills, one solution might be better than the others. Before we try to solve a problem, we should always check if we have enough resources, because if we don't, we might waste our time and money trying to solve a problem that can't be solved. Again, thinking about a broken piece of machinery, if we don't have time or skills, we should just buy a new one instead of trying to fix it, or maybe ask someone else to help. The main thing here is to think about what you can use to fix the problem, and then you can figure out whether it is possible or not. If it is not possible, now you have more clarity. And then you can stop insisting because you know it won't work. However, if it is possible, then make a plan. That way, you've got the best chance of making it work. And we explain exactly how to do your plans in the Planning Your Life training, which you can access at arata.se/planning your life. Sometimes this solution is outside of your own expertise. Don't struggle alone. Seek help to solve a problem. Consult with experts or professionals who have experience dealing with similar problems. They may be able to provide valuable insights and advice that can help you to determine if the problem is possible to solve or not. This is how we can confirm if a problem we're facing has no solution. And stay humble. Sometimes you might need help from someone else to solve a problem. This could be because you don't have the right knowledge or tools to do it yourself, or maybe because the problem is too complex for you to handle on your own. It's okay to ask for help if you need it. There are moments when you simply get analysis paralysis. You basically don't know where to start. And then you can watch episode number 1 of the Hello Seiiti Arata series. Then you can learn how to start a project. But there are situations when, even after you try to solve the problem by yourself, you don't make any progress. This is a good time to ask for help. Or if the problem is outside of your area of expertise, again, it is a good time, it's a good idea to bring in someone who knows more about it. Also, if the problem is urgent, Getting help from someone else with more experience, more resources can also help you to fix it faster. To ask for help, you can start by doing some research to find experts or professionals who have dealt with similar problems. You can use the internet, you can use professional organizations or personal connections to find people who might be able to help you. Then reach out to them and then explain the problem that you're facing, and please be specific, be clear about what you need. Be open and humble to hear their advice, their feedback. They might have valuable insights and suggestions. Let your creativity guide you to new solutions and confirm if the problem indeed has no solution. You have to consider alternative solutions or approaches that might be able to solve the problem in a different way. And if you are unable to find any viable alternatives, well, that might indicate that the problem is indeed impossible to solve. Sometimes it can be helpful to look at a problem from a different angle, think outside of the box. And by considering alternative solutions or approaches, you might be able to find a creative way to solve a problem. Even if the problem seems impossible to solve, exploring different alternative solutions, that can help you to confirm that indeed, truly there is no solution, or it can also help you to find a breakthrough. The best time to explore alternative solutions is when you've been working on a problem for a while and you haven't been able to make any progress. Or if the problem is particularly challenging or complex, looking at it from different angles can also be helpful. If you're feeling stuck, frustrated, trying something different can help you to see the problem in a new light. And to explore these alternative solutions, you can start by brainstorming as many different ideas as you can. At this moment, don't worry about how crazy they might seem. Just focus on using your creativity to come up with as many different ideas as possible. And once you've brainstormed, then it's the moment to use critical thinking and evaluate each idea to see if it's feasible or realistic. You can also combine or modify your ideas to create even more possibilities. And then you pick the best alternative solution and make a plan to implement it. You can use what you learned in planning your life training. Be prepared to adjust and adapt as needed as you advance. Consider the risks and costs to find out if your problem is solvable or not. And check again as you go, because things can change. Assess the potential risks, the costs associated with trying to solve the problem. If the risks and costs outweigh the potential benefits, then it might be better just to accept that the problem is impossible to solve. This calculation can help you to make an informed decision about whether or not it makes sense to proceed. By weighing the potential benefits against the risks and costs, then you can determine if the potential rewards are worth it. The best time to do this, to assess the risks and costs, is just before you even start trying to solve the problem. This can help you to determine if it is worth beginning and trying to find a solution. But this is not just something you do only once. In the beginning, you should also, from time to time, reevaluate the risks and costs as you make progress on the problem. Because if the situation changes or new information comes up to light, then that can affect your decision about whether or not to continue. Start by identifying the potential drawbacks, the challenges. What will you need? Next, evaluate the potential benefits, since everything is relative. See, if you have a high cost, well, but the benefit is huge, then it might be worth it. Make a decision about whether or not to proceed based on this evaluation. If you decide to proceed, create a plan to manage, to mitigate the risks as much as possible. Understand your values before trying to solve a problem. If it conflicts with your values, consider leaving it unsolved. Reflecting on your values, your priorities, can help you to clarify what is important to you. What do you want to prioritize in life? This can help you to make better decisions, including whether or not to attempt to solve a particular problem. By aligning your actions with your values, with your priorities, then you can ensure that you're really working towards your goals that are meaningful, fulfilling to you. It's a good idea to reflect on your values and priorities before attempting to solve a problem. But also you should do this along the way, throughout the process. It can help you to determine if this problem is aligned with what is important to you, if it is worth your time, your effort to try to solve it. To use your values and priorities when trying to determine if a problem has a solution or not, you can ask yourself the following 3 questions. 1. Does attempting to solve this problem align with my values and my priorities? 2. If I solve this problem, will it be bringing me closer to achieving my goals and living in accordance with my values, my priorities? And 3. If I cannot solve this problem, will that be in conflict with my values and my priorities? Answering these questions can help you to make a decision about whether or not to pursue a solution to the problem. If the problem is not in alignment with your values and priorities, it might be better to accept that it is impossible to solve. It is a problem without a solution, and therefore, it is already solved. Success is not about achieving external goals like money or power. Instead, it is about living a good and virtuous life. This means that even if you don't achieve all your goals, you can still find peace and fulfillment by focusing on what truly matters. It is not necessary to solve every problem, and it is better to move on from unsolvable problems and focus on the problems that can be solved. By prioritizing what truly matters, you can find success and fulfillment in life. And to be able to do all of this, now I want to invite you to work with me in the Planning Your Life training by visiting arata.se/planning your life.